obviously part of the motorcycle, as the title suggests. Just tastes lots of butter. Motorcycles and depression. Now, I've had depression for a number of years. Not as bad as some people, but mine really started when my dad died. When he died, yeah, of course you're upset. I didn't have a mega fantastic relationship with my dad. He wasn't sort of a hands-on parent, or as I can never remember him being. As long as he could get to the bookies, get to the pub, watch the TV, his dinner was on the table. You know, he was an old Lancashire lad. He was happy. It was never really, you know, when we were growing up, you watch all these films, typically American films, where the dads are doing everything with the kids, and you know, all this like. Well, my dad was never like that, and I'm sure many people's weren't. In fact, I'm sure many people had a far worse dad than me. My dad really was a big kid, and I didn't realise that till, you know, I got older. But he loved cartoons. He had a strange, childish sense of humour. Well, a wide-ranging sense of humour. But he was never really, he wouldn't sit and play. I can never remember him sitting and playing with either me and my sister or anything like that. You know, I very much grew up in what I remember my own company, you know, in my own room, and I still pretty much do the same now. But it's but I don't hold that against him. That's just who he was. But he's like, he loved Lego and Airfix and stuff like that. And you'd get up some mornings and he'd build like a really good aeroplane or something out of Lego for you to play with it during the day, you know, during the school holidays or something like that. So I'll always remember him for that. But I can remember that when he died, I just thought, oh, that's it then. But I was still, right until the day of his funeral, pretty much expecting him to come back through the door, or you go into a room and you see him there. Of course, that ain't the case. It's not like people haven't died before. You know, I've had people die in front of me. And it's just one of them things, just one of those massive things that you just deal with, you just cope with. But it's like, I don't do hospitals very well or anything like that. I never have done, never will. So when somebody's in hospital and you know they're probably not coming out again, you kind of go on to an autopilot, just get your daily routine done and just function. Some people don't. But I can remember I was that busy running around after my mum and my sister and to keep him busy, just keep him busy, that my head didn't actually recognise that he died until the hearse come outside the house, and then something like a light switch just went off in my head, and the next thing I know I'm in my bed. I sparked out, just the off switch went and I sparked out, and I've never been the same since. And that was 2004, and I've suffered a bit with the black dog since, and it's really hard to describe because I had it quite bad yesterday. And quite bad, I mean, you could have a full-blown conversation with somebody in your head who's trying to talk to you, even if it's just a simple question, do you want a cup of tea or anything like that, and you physically, or at least in my case, you physically can't answer, or it's just, it's a horrible way to put it, but it feels like too much hassle to answer. It sounds horrible, but it's like, I don't tend to get it for very long. Like today, I feel a bit better. I can talk to you. Well, I'm talking to a fucking camera, but in my head I'm talking to you. So it's a bit weird. Mm. But on days like that, you're on autopilot. You forget to eat. I can sleep all day and still be tired at night. I find everything tedious. Everything grates me. Or I'll be in one of them moods where I don't care about anything. Literally nothing. I mean, it's, you know, if you were a bit too far gone or a bit older, you could probably quite happily sit there and piss yourself and not care. You know, what a state of mind that'd be. Save a lot of washing. But, so I've had it literally since my dad died, but because I didn't go to university or I'm not posh, in my family, especially my mum, you haven't got depression, you're just a miserable bastard for a couple of days. Fair enough. Suits me. But you know, friends and stuff know otherwise, because they're the ones that have to deal with it. Although I'm quite lucky, because most of the time I'm off work when it happens, or it's on a weekend when I'm on my own anyway. So it's, you know, you've got time to get over it before you have to interact with anybody again. But it's like, mine improved when I met Mrs. Shed, and it's been alright for the however many years I've known her, 7, 8, I don't know, some days it only feels like I met her the other week. She still surprises me, even now, in good ways. But it's like, it's kept the black dog at bay. Because you know, try that again. I've edited that out. I had a bit of a coughing fit. I'm full of cold at the minute as well. Which is usually, funny enough, when I'm run down, I get cold sores, I get cold, or if I get cold on my chest like I have done now, it wipes me out, and I'm a miserable fucker then anyway. But I do recognise the black dog when it's at home. But I've sort of learned to live with him, because even though your thoughts go dark, very dark. I mean, the other day I was looking at like the car park at Beachy Head, because we all know why people go to Beachy Head, and I think that's great. There's not a fence around the car park. I could ride my bike down there straight off the end of a cliff, or I could go down the motorway the wrong way and hit a truck. You know, I've never felt too bad for people that have committed suicide, purely because, you know, when you've had enough, that is your lifespan on earth. That was probably destined from the day you were born, that on such a day, that's it mate, shuffle off. Whether that's through natural causes or your own doing, I think that is predetermined. And it's just one of we're getting morbid. So, yeah, so I've got a bit of the black dog. Yeah, I'm full of cold. I'm drinking my own snot. So I'm a miserable cunt. But Mrs. Shed, she kind of changed my world a bit for the better, and continues to do so, which is a good thing. I mean, I haven't had a proper session with the black dog since I've met her, literally since I've met her, but I recognised it the other day, and he came in barking, and that is probably because I'm not feeling too good anyway. So you're on a downer anyway because you're ill. I mean, I did a job the other day where I had to do a job where it turned out I was sitting in wind chill of minus 32, and I thought at the time, if I don't get a cold out of this, I'm never getting one. So sure enough, it's developed, and I've got a cold, and I'm a miserable bastard when I'm ill. Even if it's just a cold, I am a miserable fucker. I'm not one of these people that needs other people when I'm ill. You know, it's like you get some people going, oh, I'll come round, I'll bring you some soup, I'll come round, keep you company, and I was like, oh, fuck off. I want to be on my own. I want to be miserable. Because I'm a bloke. You know what I mean? I think blokes, in general, need their arsehole time. Don't know if women do. I don't know if they've got an equivalent of it. But most blokes I know like a bit of leave me alone time. And I don't mean that horrible. If it's just to disappear in a shed for an hour, you know, whatever, go out for a drive, whatever. It helps immensely. That's where I do some of your best thinking. But anyway, okay, finally, we'll get onto the title of the video because I'm rambling. I'm in get it off my chest mode. Is depression and motorcycles. How many motivational posters have you seen where it's a motorcycle and it's usually some fucking Harley Davidson down a desert road or by the beach or something like that, and it was saying, this is the only therapy I will ever need? I can guarantee you that if 20 minutes on a motorcycle cures all your ills, you're not fucking depressed. You're just a miserable bastard. Because when depression strikes, at least with me, I can't function. Literally cannot function. In your head, you'd love to do loads of stuff. You think, well, I've got a day off today. There's a little bit of money in the bank. I could fill the tank up. I could go to the seaside. I could go and see some mountains in Wales. Tiny little mountains, not worth it. Fucking hate Wales. Anyway, that all stems from a holiday when I was a child. My dad was a stonemason, quarryman. And of course a lot of the jobs in the Midlands in the quarries were taken over by the Welsh miners. My village has a lot of Welsh in it, or Welsh origin, let's say, because they come for the quarry work. When the pits closed down or the pits went quiet or anything like that, they come for the quarry work because they were bloody good at it. I can remember being on holiday. We were in, I think, Llandudno, and I think it was about 1980, 1982, and I can remember my dad not being served in shops, not being served in pubs because he was English. Of course the place has changed now, but Scotland could be like that. You didn't say you were English in certain parts of Scotland, especially Culloden. But obviously people realise they need the tourist dollar now. But I think the world's a different place anyway. So yeah. So my dad hated the Welsh, and I grew up hating the Welsh. And it's like everybody says, "Oh, we'll go ride out for Wales and all this lot," and I'm thinking, no, I'm going to go east because we're in the Midlands. We're in the East Midlands. I'm going to go east and go and see the sea. It's a rare time where I head west. I enjoy it when I do though. But when my dad died, I had a little Honda CBR 750 import. Fucking nose was running again. Excuse me. No, that's not oil, I've already blown my nose on it. I just needed a day out on the bike just to blow a couple of tanks, just to get my head straight. And I ended up at a lake next to Snowdon, just near Bangor in fact. We weren't that far from Bangor. It was on the A5 and it's called something like, I'm going to get completely wrong, Glenogwyn or something like that. And I can remember turning the corner and literally there it was, and the water was turquoise, the sun was out. It hadn't been a particularly brilliant day when I went. Actually I know it was spring because my dad died in January and it wasn't too far after, I don't think. Can't remember because my head got fried. I can't remember a lot of the last, you know, he died in 2004 and from then to now it's a blur. It's honestly a blur. It's like somebody, it's like your mind is a cassette and now it's being recorded over the original stuff. I can't remember a lot of stuff. And then when I got put on one of the drugs I'm on, not for that, it turns out one of the long-term things on it is memory loss. And like Mrs. Shed will tell you, I'm not putting it on, it's genuine. I forget the simplest of things, literally the simplest of things. You can send me down the shop for a pint of milk, and I'll come back with a Phillips screwdriver, some double-sided tape, a bar of chocolate, a newspaper I never intend to read, and perhaps some kitchen roll, and I'll completely forget what I've been down for. I'll get to the shop and forget, and I can be repeating it in my head all the way down to the shop, pint of milk, pint of milk, pint of milk, and I'll get there, someone will say hello to me, and that's it, it's gone, the information's not there anymore. But it's like, it's weird because I forget names, I forget birthdays, I forget MOT dates, I forget when a car's, you know, due its tax, which is why I do it monthly by direct debit, because I know it's going to, I don't have to deal with it, you know. But it's funny because you can put me in front of an engine like this and I can read how to set the timing and the valve guides and stuff like that, and I'll remember fucking useless crap. I'll remember absolutely useless shit, which unless I'm on mastermind for some obscure subject, it's never going to be important. But at least the brain's retaining information. But no, normal day-to-day shit, sometimes I don't even know if I'm in work or not. I'm that bad. I am that bad. But it's like, I've since discovered that you're supposed to be taking this like mineral supplement with this medication, which the doctor didn't say at the time, but I've took it for a few years now and my memory's got terrible, absolutely awful. It's like sometimes I can actually be driving back from work or to work and I'll start driving to somewhere else where I used to work, and it won't be until I see like a little landmark or something that I twig that I'm on the wrong road, and I do that quite often. I can't remember road routes for test driving. I can remember all the old ones that we had because I weren't on my meds then. You know, we used to have routes that lasted your whole shift, the whole 8 hours. You were on a single route in the Peak District down the Cotswolds, you know, stuff like that, around by Aylesbury. And it was, I could probably still remember all of those because they're seared in. But like learning a new route, forget it. Just doesn't go in. Does not go in. I have to follow a sat nav. And it's worrying because after that you think, well, that's my age. But it isn't. Like, I'm 50 next month and I don't care. I've not cared since I was 40, and it's great. It's really liberating when you don't care what people think of you. It's brilliant. And at 50 I plan to care even fucking less, to be honest. But it's yeah, so this depression of motorcycles, if a 10-minute motorcycle ride is, you know, giving you a happy mood, making you smile, you aren't depressed. You don't need therapy. You're just having an off day, and that's the be all and end all of it. I mean, I could go out on the bike now. Tyres are pumped up, there's fuel in the tank, it's taxed, it's MOT'd, it's insured. I can go out for the rest of the day if I want. But like I say, I'm full of cold, I feel like shit, my attention's not going to be there. Yeah, I'd love to go out. I'd love to go out for a ride to the seaside and all this lot. But I'll probably get halfway there and jack it in as a bad idea. Or I just can't be arsed, I want to be home, I want to get back to bed. And shit like that. So anyway, excuse my rant, because I suppose it is a rant. But that's the state of play. Pinky, which you're sitting on at the minute, is up on the lift. Let's take you back. He's up on the lift, and well, we'll just slowly plugging away. A couple of bolts taken out. Is still forward progress at the end of the day, but she's still got to get down to a bare frame and what have you. So I've got to spray some stuff with like anti-seize, WD, just to ensure that the screws come out and stuff like that, because they is rusty. They probably won't put up a fight, but you know, it's nice to have it in your favour. And then I think I've found a local guy that can blast and powder coat the frame, and he does do motorcycle stuff, and that's important because the country's not short of powder coaters at the end of the day, but a lot of them never used to have motorcycle experience. Let's say they could do alloy wheels and industrial parts. Oh, excuse me. But when it came to like doing bike frames and wheels, where they didn't know that they had to blank. Oh God, my ear's cleared now. Where they didn't know where, you know, what bits they had to blank off and stuff like that. So you've got a guy who already does bike parts and he's got a good reputation for it, go for it. Because I'm not sure whether this frame needs to be painted or powder coated. Whatever, it's got to be blasted. It's got to be blasted to get rid of the rust. Because I think the majority of it is just surface anyway. The worst bit is on the front cradle. And I need to drop the engine to get the front cradle off, to get at the front cradle properly. The engine's coming out anyway, because that needs a good scrub down and a repaint and what have you. But it will get there. Just we don't know when. But it will get there. It will get there. Because we've come this far. And ideally the wheels want repolishing or painting, whatever. You know, stuff like that. And it's unusual, this bike, because it hasn't got Honda ProLink. Honda ProLink was about when this was built, but literally all this has is the shock attaches to the frame and it attaches to the swing arm. That's it. The linkage is the distance between the pivot points. That's all it is. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there because I need another cup of tea and a fucking lem sip. So yeah, so we're still on a downer, but the kennel door's open. To be quite honest, I don't mind my black dog because I know I can cope with it. A lot of people can't cope with theirs. So keep safe, keep smiling. You can smile for me as well. And don't forget, we've still got all the merch, and we've got Patreon and all that lot, and it'll be a happy day in Jimmy World when somebody actually does a Patreon, to be honest. Because, you know, just make life easy. And hopefully we'll crack on a bit more. So it's just a quick meandering ranty update. So yeah, hopefully back to normal when I'm functioning normal.